So we're going to start to talk about scene management in this lesson. So far everything we've done in Unity's been in the same scene. And so although it is certainly possible to build large and complex games in this way, it's generally much easier to use multiple scenes. So the ideas behind a scene is that it's a self-contained collection of game objects. So therefore, when transitioning between scenes, all existing game objects are destroyed and all new game objects are created. However, you can prevent this discussed as we move forward, okay? So let's again just revisit kind of what a scene is. I know Wallace talked a little bit about it. So ideally, a scene is like a level in your game. So with games that get consistently harder or games that have dynamically generated levels, this is not though this is not necessarily true. Therefore, it can be a good to think of scenes as common list of assets. A game consisting of many levels that use the same objects can actually consist of one scene. It is only when you need to get rid of a bunch of objects and load a bunch of new objects that the idea of a new scene really becomes necessary. Basically stated, don't split levels into different scenes just because you can. Only create new scenes if required by the gameplay and the asset management. Okay? So in this lesson, we are going to understand the purpose of the Unity hierarchy, how to organize it effectively. We're going to be able to create and manage persistent systems like Game Manager and Audio Managers. We'll look at a couple other managers. We'll know how to learn Don't Destroy Unload for cross-scene persistence, and learn how to switch scenes using Scene Manager. So, and also we're going to learn applying a singleton pattern to ensure one instance of each manager exists. Okay, sorry. So let's talk about what is the Unity hierarchy. Okay. So essentially, I think you would remember that Wallace talked a lot about the hierarchy window in, I don't know, maybe probably lesson 1 and 2 and 3. But this is essentially where all your game objects on the left here are going to be. And one of the things that we want to talk about is making sure that that is organized. Just like anything in life, honestly, like, do you organize your files? We talked about, I know with Wallace, he was showing you how to organize your asset folders, where you put your scripts, where you put your sprites. But the same way, how do you organize your file system? How do you organize your computer? How do you organize your living room? All these things, okay? And if you keep them organized and you know where everything is, then you're going to be able to find them easier. And other people who use your code are going to be able to find stuff easier. So if, you know, especially when you get into more games, more than you in a game, then you're going to really need that organization, or your game is really quickly going to turn into a mess. And not only is it going to look like a mess, it's going to be so hard to debug. Okay, so when you have a problem, you're going to not know who group number whatever did because it's so disorganized. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we are going to, you know what, maybe what I'll do is, I'm just trying to think here. Just trying to think if I'll do a new scene. Okay, so let's first just dive into a little bit of the scene management Unity hierarchy. So far we've been adding objects to our Unity scene to build our games, which is great. That's absolutely great. But as games get more complex, your scene can quickly turn into a mess, as we talked about. So I want to show you a little bit about some of the good practices, good hierarchy practices, and how to set up systems to manage different parts of your game. So the hierarchy in Unity is just a list of all the game objects. You know that. Currently active in your scene. If everything that's visible or not visible in your game world, okay? That what it means is, like, it may not, may not see it in the scene, but it's it's there, okay? And that could be just because it's not in front of the camera or you have it hidden. There's numerous different reasons for that. So it might look like just a bunch of names, but think of it kind of as your table of contents for your whole entire scene. If it's clean and well organized, then you can find anything in seconds. If it's messy, as we talked about, you know. So let me show you what I mean by messy versus clean. First of all, we'll start by making a bit of a disaster. So I'm gonna start to randomly add objects here. I don't know, let's just start making a mess. Just give me, I'm just gonna add a bunch of stuff. Camera, light, I don't know. What do we want to add? Just a bunch of stuff. Let's add some more capsules. Okay. But think if you had a big scene, this could get really, 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 really long, okay? And then let's like image. No. Camera. Where's my name? A. Okay, so you're starting to get a sense. I'm just like, these are terrible names, by the way. Just terrible. And these are real examples that I see in people's scenes. Okay, and so now I want to essentially clean things up. So I'm going to use an empty game objects like folders, so you're going to watch how quickly the scene becomes readable when we sort things into managers, okay? So empty item, okay? So I'm going to go underscore manager. So, okay, let's do underscore UI. I'm by doing the underscore for me and my group, we've decided that this is the naming convention we'll go with, okay? I mean, that's not like a key. I could do like folder managers, which, I mean, that looks pretty good too. Yeah, it's up to you. I think they kind of both work. Environment. Audio. And also, like, you want to know with your group, you want to decide with yourself or your group or whatever. Are we doing capitals, like camel case, where like every letter word starts with a capital and then comes down to lowercase? It's really up to you, okay? So just even adding these really, really helps. So then what we can do is essentially start to drag our canvas under UI, okay? And we can do our environment. And what else do we do? I mean, these are still poorly named, remember? Camera. Now, I would probably leave some of the really common things, like the main light, like the things that come with the scene at the top for easy access. But just like anybody, I mean, it really depends how you want to organize your scenes. Like, cameras. Okay. So when you start thinking about building a real game, one with multiple levels, a menu, audio, logic, you want your scenes to be modular, okay? So modular means breaking the game into systems that each have a job. Just like a company has different departments, HR, finance, IT, art, programming, you don't want one person doing everything. You don't want one script trying to do everything either. So let's look at a few of the core systems that appear in almost every game. Okay, so we have our game manager. Okay, so this is going to be the control center. I might just do control center just to keep it organized for you. I wouldn't put that in a game, but I just want to do it for teaching purposes. Okay, so this is going to track important data, scores, lives, game state, pause, playing, game over, anything that maybe tracks the player progress. Then you're going to want to have your audio manager. We'll put audio. I won't, that's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, and the audio manager is going to control your sound, anything that is audible, okay? So instead of putting all your audio code all over the place, you keep it here. So it's going to be plays your music, your sound effects, your mute, your unmute globally. Yeah, I don't know if you have any like language or anything reading in your game, anything like that. Okay, let's do another one is our UI manager. Okay. And this is going to basically be in charge of tuning the menus on and off, showing the score, health bars, game over scenes. It talks to all the other managers like the game manager and the audio manager, okay? And then depending on your game, you might have a level manager. Okay. And the level manager handles your scene transition. So between, if you need scenes, which we will, it's going to transition between level 1 and level 2 or whatever, the main menu and the first level. So if you press play and go to the next scene, this manager is going to be doing this. And it knows how to load and unload levels. So each scene, each system lives in its own game object, which we just created, and it's usually under a manager folder in the hierarchy, okay? So the next thing, do I have a space there? Oh, I do. See? How funny. Even that, I don't like to have a space. I want them to all be lined up. And you should too want them to be all lined up. Okay, so where's our managers? Let's click all these things and drag them into our managers, okay? So now all our managers live in the folder UI managers, okay? And those are going to be the managers. And then depending UI objects, like all the sprites or whatever, the images and things like that for this particular scene is going to be under there. The same with environment, audio, cameras. Honestly, the sky's the limit. And as you get into more complex mobile games, I think your mind, like, if that's going to be intense, okay? It's going to be large. So this is going to make your game easier to debug and build. So now that you kind of understand the purpose of the hierarchy and why we use folders and managers, we're going to try and build some together. So we're going to start by creating the game manager, and I'll show you how to make it globally accessible and to grab it from any script. Okay, so let's go and do that. But I do think that you know what, I'm just for simplicity, I'm going to take that off. Okay, we are going to get to that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could create your things like this. You could say, instead of underscore UI, it could be UI underscore folder. Like really, you just have to make your naming convention and decide with your group and go for it. There's no wrong answer here. It's just about organization, consistency, and I would say maybe readability. I'm gonna delete this game object. I don't think I need it. And then what you want to do is you want to document these managers in the comments or scene notes, your game design document, any documentation. You want to have like a section that has your naming conventions, your file names, how you're going to do them, your folder names, your organization, all that, things like that, okay? So if you have multiple scenes, you're also going to do the exact same thing for all of your scenes, okay? This isn't, one won't be organized and the rest won't be, okay? One thing I did want to talk a little bit too about is a couple other managers. We're not going to talk too much about them, but you could have, I'll just do them here for visualization's sake, but you could have an input manager, okay? And your input manager is going to centralize your player's input, keyboard, gamepad, touch. It's going to make it easier to swap out control schemes from keyboard to controller. It's often going to wrap Unity's input systems or any of the, I think Wallace showed you the legacy one too. You could, depending, you might need a network manager. Okay. And that's going to manage the multiplayer functionality. It could handle connections, message passing, syncing the game state, often used with whenever you're using netcode. It's something that comes with Unity, Photon or Mirror. So you can look those up if you're really interested in networking and multiplayer. Okay. We could also do inventory manager. Okay, so stores and updates the player's inventory data. So I don't know, if you had like a shelf of all the inventory that you collect as you go, that could be where that is. So items, quantities, equipment, and that's going to interface with the UI manager to show the inventory items, okay? But it's going to have all the logic in it. You could, depending on your game, you could have your enemy manager or your NPC manager, depending. So this is going to spawn and manage all your AI agents. It's going to keep track of all the enemies or NPCs in your game, okay? So depending on what you have, then you can rename that appropriately. What else? Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit, but I just want to give you some examples. So like effects manager, or VFX manager, whatever you want to do, call it. That could be like your controls, your particles, effects, screen shakes, like, you know, when it rumbles. Camera effects, it can handle pooling and reuse of common effects like explosions. We could have also here state manager. Manages game states, menu, play, pause, game over, often works closely with the game manager. We could have a save manager, or I mean, we could also call it, I don't know if I can actually put a data manager. I don't know how it feels about forward slashes. Okay, so this could handle your saving and your loading of your game data using player preferences, JSON files, binary files for persistence, anything like that. You could also get into session manager, which is going to store session-wide data. Did I spell that right? Manager. And so that could be the player's names, the settings between scenes. Usually scene transitioning are using, this is going to be like the don't destroy unload. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the UI input manager, the time manager, the setting manager, analytics manager. Okay, so basically if you find yourself adding the same logic to multiple scripts, then it's certainly, if a certain system is being controlled from too many places, that's usually a really good candidate for breaking it into a manager, okay? So let me like say that a little clearer. So if you are finding that you have code all through other managers, this usually means that that should be consolidated into one area under a manager, okay? A great example is if you have your scene and you find you're putting UI code here, 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 here. You want to control that all in a UI or a HUD manager, okay? And then, of course, we would grab all these and put them under the managers folder, okay? So you get a sense of what's going on there, okay? Let's start to, starting here. I mean, I could add more here, like, I don't think I have anything under audio, do I? Let's take these and put them under audio so that it, okay. And you see how these go below, so that's kind of cool. So that'll, like, you know, you kind of get a sense of like, oh, I know where to look for things, right? And you know where to put things. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do here is we are going to create our game manager, okay? So the game manager is essentially the brains of the game. So it's going to track the score, the state, the lives, etc. Okay, so why don't I, I'm going to take a break, I think, and then we'll jump right into that, okay? Okay, so I am opening up the Pong game that we had going here. Okay. And so as a refresher here, it has a game manager, right? Remember we created this, and I just want to talk through it a little bit, okay? I'm going to, what I'm going to do though here. I'm going to go managers. I'm going to get this organized, right? I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to talk to it about UI. Put my canvas in there. What's this? The boundary? Okay. It's my environment. Okay, my ball, my boundary, my left and right paddle, and the event system goes with the UI, remember from last week. And I'm going to leave my main camera there because I want it really accessible. I could create a camera folder, but I'm not going to. I like that there. That's just something easy. If I got a lot of cameras, I don't even know if I put the main camera in it. But I guess it really depends on what your team organizes and decides. But as an individual, you can do as you wish, okay? So we're in the managers and we have our game manager, right? And then in here we have our score manager script, right? And we look down here, we have our scripts. Where's our game manager? Well, essentially it's our score manager script here that we've added and called it that. I mean, should I have called it originally game manager? Probably. I probably should have called this game manager, but that's okay. Okay, so I might not go ahead and change it. But essentially this is all here, so this is correct, okay? So this is where we set it. You remember from last week. Okay, we hooked it all up, and this is just kind of reiterating how we set this up. So we did it pretty well from the get-go, so that hopefully is helpful, so you'll kind of learn how to do it, okay? Now, the next thing, what is this? We want to talk about here is scenes, okay? Okay, so we've got my first scene, we've got Pong, and we've got this. So I'm going to go and I'm going to create a scene here, okay? And I'm going to call it, well, let's just call it level 1 for, okay? Gonna do another one. I'm going to go see. This, I'm just setting this up so that we can kind of work with it too. And create another scene. Level 3. Okay, cool. And what we want to do here is we want to go to File, Build Profiles, okay? So that's in File, Build Profiles, and then we want to go into the Build Profiles and we want to go to the Scene List, okay? And we want to add all of our levels here, okay? So you can either click and drag. Okay, and this order matters, okay? This is, this matters. Okay, so this is going to be the first one that's loaded. So if this was your main menu, then this is what you would have here, okay? I'm going to take this out for now, okay? So I'm going to remove that and make it that, okay? So that our level 1 loads first, okay? Yeah, got it. Okay, just want to make sure I'm recording. Okay, I always want to make sure I'm recording, because if you're not recording, that would be terrible. Okay, so I might check it a few more times. But anyways, I have created my scenes here, right? I called them level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay, so now the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a level manager script. And so in my project window, I'm going to go into my scripts folder, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say create scripting mono behavior script. Okay, and here I am going to call it level manager. Okay. I mean, you could also call it scene manager. It's really up to you. Okay, so double click on this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start to add some stuff here. Okay. Okay, so we've got our import of the Unity engine. Now, what we need to make sure is, I mean, you should understand how imports work at the top of your script, because you guys are all programming development students. So, okay, so I need to do using scene management. Oh, sorry, let me try this again. Unity. Oh my goodness, you know what the problem is? I use a Mac keyboard at my day job, and it's the buttons are so much lower. So I really think what I need to maybe do is get a Mac one for my PC. Okay, so we've got everything we were using. Okay, it's telling us it's unnecessary because we haven't utilized it yet, but that's fine. Okay, and we had to make sure that our level manager is named the C#, which it is, and it's of a mono behavior. And I don't really think we need any of these. Let's get rid of the templated ones, and we are going to do a public void level manager. Oh wait, I already have that. Okay, I'm retyping what I already have. Public void load level function. Okay, and this is going to be, we're going to pass in the string of the level. Let's do lowercase level name. Okay, and then scene manager dot load scene level name, the variable that's passed in, the parameter that's passed in right here. We're going to load the scene. Okay. So then we're going to do another function, and this one is going to be public void. This is going to be what you're going to load the next level as. Okay. This doesn't accept any input. And this one, what we want to do is we need to get the current index of the active scene, and then we need to iterate it to the next one, okay? So we need an int current index equal to scene manager dot get active. That's the function on it. And these are all in the documentation, okay? Build index and then int. We need an integer to store the next index in. +1. Okay, so then if the next index is less than the scene manager object dot scene count in build settings. So you can look, that's going to be then what we want to do is have the scene manager flies load scene of the next index. Okay, and I don't need anything there. Else git debug dot log, just in case we want to see what else. If that doesn't happen, then we can just say no more levels. Okay. Semicolon. And then we want to have another function. So let's bring this up here. We don't need all this space. And this one is going to be for restarting the level. Okay, so public void restart level. Start level. Scene manager, we have to grab our scene manager object, and we're going to load the scene manager dot get active scene dot build. If I hit tab, right, that just finishes it for me, which is cool. Okay, and then I need one more function, which is, oops, what did I put? Public void, so I can do VO tab to keep me going, and then quit game, curly braces, and application So this is how you actually, like, if you want to quit it out of the game, right? Application dot quit semicolon, and I'm just gonna copy here. So type it all. Okay, game closed. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I don't have any like errors, I don't think. I need to save it. Okay, my little dot went away, so I know I've saved it. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to add the level manager to my scene. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna right click, right, and I'm gonna create empty, and I'm gonna say level manager, enter. And then with it selected, I'm going to come over to my inspector here and I'm going to add a component. Okay, remember, you can't just code scripts. You have to have them actually connected to objects in your scene for them to be triggered, okay? So we're going to add a component and we're going to choose our scripts. And we're going to go to our level manager script here. I think I could also just say new and then drag it in, but whatever. I like this way. And then let's just save it. Okay, and then we're gonna go to okay, hold on, wait. I think oh, you know what? My bad. I was not in the right thing. Let's do it real quick again. Sorry. Level manager. Okay. There's a fly. Sorry. Driving me nuts. Okay, scripts. Level manager. Okay. Save. Gotta do the same thing for level 2. This way they all connect to the same code. Level manager, add component, scripts, level manager, save. Okay, level 3, new, level manager, and really, I want to get specific, I really should be doing this. Underscore managers, a level manager under it. Oops, it went below it, not in it. Okay, then double click here, then I go this. Where's my scripts? Level manager. Cool. Save. Okay, I'm going to be a proper organizer here, okay? Managers. I'm going to hit Control S to save. Level 1, I'm going to go create a script, underscore managers. Okay. Control S. Okay. Now let's test by switching the buttons. Okay, so in our level 1, go back to level 1, we're in level 1. We're going to create a game object. Oh, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go my UI. Then I'm going to say, let's make a UI, and we're going to do a button. Let's do a button. Okay, and then Okay, so select the button. Yep, cool. I mean, I guess I could label it button, level 2 button. Button. And sometimes people have like naming conventions like this, like they'll do BTN, right, for button is like level 2. Okay. And then select the button. I have the button selected. And then over in my inspector, I am going to, over here, on click, okay, my list is empty here. Down here under the button component, we're going to say, okay, we're going to drag our level manager object over here. Okay, so in the text field, okay, runtime only, that's what we want. We want level manager. Where is it? Hold on, hold on. Let me do this one more time. The level manager. Okay, so also remember how like canvas is, and if I click on it, I can see it come up really big, right? I don't, it's up to you. But this is going to be the UI. Okay, so one I need to do is on here, remember, ooh, that's really big. What I need to do here is on the click. What I think I did here is I added the level manager game object. What I need to do here is add the level manager script. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, so here I add that, right? And then I get the function, the monoscript, and I get string name. That's the only one that accepts a parameter, right? So I input it, and then what I want to say is level 2, right? Because that's what I called the scene, okay? Hit enter. And then what I want to do here is let's give it a go. Okay, so we are on, where's our console? Let's hit play. Ooh, I have compile errors. Oh, did I? Did I miss a semicolon somewhere? I sure did. Okay, let's give that a go. Well, at least it told me. Okay, so let's push play and see if it works. Oh, I still have compare. What does it say? Scene manager does not contain a definition for scene count. Oh. Okay. What do I got going on here? What is it? Scene count in. Oh, in. That'll go. What? The name current index. Oh my gosh, I have 1,000 typing error. Current index. Whew. Well, the compiler errors work. You can at least know that. I wish it was being more. debug together. What does it say? Oh, I think I have a T on the end, right? Where's my T? I'm sure. Add it. What line is it? I don't see it. I'm sure you see it, but I don't see it. Ah, there it is. Okay. Oh, I didn't set my aspect ratio up right. Save. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna figure out what's going on here. It's my canvas and my main screen space overlay. Okay, that's good. That's what I want. Let's go to my button. Okay, hold on. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. It's funny. I don't know why I put it there. Anyways, all good. Okay, so I can see my button. I'm in it. I'm gonna push it. Okay, and I should probably have it printing out to me. So let's stop. Let's go back to our projects, level manager. Let's do this here. Okay, so we gave it level 2, trying to load level 2 scene. Okay, load next level. I want it to do. Oh, why is it? Hold on, let's stop this here. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, level 2. says load level 2. Okay, I don't know what was happening, so that was really bizarre. So what I did, because I was working in the Pong project, is I created a new project, okay? I added the scenes 1, 2, and 3, very simple. Added my manager, added my exact same code into my scripts folder, literally the same thing, okay? So you can see here, everything we did, okay? Then on level 1, I've created my button under my UI, same thing we did before. I dragged my level manager game object into the on-click. And now when I go to the level manager, I'm actually seeing my functions. I do not know what was happening before. I don't know. Honestly, yeah, I don't know. So I did everything the same. So now I'm here. So I'm going to select load level. Then I'm going to type level 2. Enter. Okay. Now I'm going to save my scene. Go to my level 2. Gonna do my empty game object, UI. I'm gonna create my canvas. UI button. I am going to add a non-clickable. Add my level manager object. Okay, I'm going to load the next level. This one, remember, because I'm on scene 2, I want to load level 3. Hit enter. Okay, hit save the scene. I don't have the asterisk there anymore. I'm going to go back to level 3. I'm going to go and create my empty scene object. UI. I'm going to UI. Button. On click. Open my manager. Drag my level manager over. Oh, sorry, I didn't add a plus here. Give me a second. Oh, I disorganized it. Keep it in there. Okay, add my plus on my on click. My level manager. Okay, I'm level 3. Can do something a little different this time. I'm gonna quit the game. Okay. Cool. And then I mean, I could honestly too also trigger like do the input that we learned in lesson 3 or 4, where I hit the N key, triggers these buttons, the like next level, all that stuff. Okay. Like I guess I could add like something like this. Well, let's, okay, hold on. Let's run it and see. Oh, Okay, let me see the scene. Level 1, UI, canvas, button. Canvas, button, why? 0, 0, save, level 3, canvas, button. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to level 1. Okay, see? I clicked it. Now I'm in level 2. Gonna click it again. See? Now I'm in level 3. Click it one more time and the game should end. Okay? See way down here? Game closed. Okay, so if I actually make a build, which we will do later in the weeks, that would close the exe down. Okay, cool. So that is good. Okay, last thing I want to do here is I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to scripts. I'm going to go here, open it up in Visual Studio, and then I want to add one more function. So I'm going to go void update. Okay, remember Wallace talked about this. This is something that's triggered all the time. So if input input dot get key down key code dot n. Okay, then I'm gonna load next level. If I'm just gonna copy this, okay. R, then let's call my restart level. Okay. Okay, so save that, close that. Cancel these. Filing my scripts. Yep. Okay, so I have my button game object. Okay, so I want to change the text. So I've got my button, I've got my text, I'm selecting my text, and I'm in the inspector here, and I want to go to text UI, and I want to say level, I don't know. Okay, cool. I'm going to copy that, save it out, scripts, level 2, canvas, this, button, go to level 3, save that out, save, level 3, button, I don't know, quit game. Okay. do this here, go back to level 1. I mean, that's automatically, because in my, remember here in my build settings, I have it go 1, 2, 3. That's what it's going to be. Okay, so here we're going to push play. Okay. Click, go to level 2, go to level 3, quit game. Well, it says game closed at the bottom, but remember it won't because we're just in that mode. But okay, so that is really cool. So I think you can kind of start to envision how now you have your main menu, then you have your level 1, your level 2. You can call restart. You can call the function, where's our code? Okay, so you could have it go to load the level, which we did based on the name. We could have it load just the next name based on the next level based on the index. We could also have it, we could have a button that says restart the exact same level that we're already in, and then we can have quit. So we can have all these different functions. You could have go to credits and go to the credit screen. You could here have the, oh weird. So then you could have it look for the escape key. The other code was the one from the Pong that I was using, and I'd added these. Okay, so you could have it have the escape code. You could have it look for the escape key, which then brings you to the pause menu that pauses up, and the pause menu could restart and come to the game, all with exactly what we're doing here, okay? So the key is you have your level manager, and you have your level manager object, which you drag your level manager script onto, and then all your buttons are then linked to your script, okay? And then the other thing you can do, it doesn't have to be a level, it doesn't have to be a button, right? You could have a flag, okay? So you get to the end of your script and you have a flag sprite, and then you put a box collider on the sprite, and then whenever that box collider, your character and the box collider collide, then you call your level manager script, which then loads the next script, right? And in between your scripts, your two levels, instead of just going right to it, you could then pop up a congratulations, you finished level 1. And then that maybe is on a timer, and then you go right to your level 2. And then again, you have another flag with a box collider, and when the character clicks that, that then triggers the load next level, okay? Do you see how like this is working? So that is really important. I'm showing you the fundamentals, but with them, you should be able to do a lot more with them, okay? The last thing that I want to talk briefly about is I don't know why I don't really want to get the .NET SDK. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Anyways, I should get it so that the message goes away, but whatever. The last thing that I want to talk about here is the, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on what the name is, but it's the don't destroy on load. Okay, so so basically in your game manager, what the don't destroy on load is I'm just gonna maybe pull up the sample here so that we can code something. Okay. Okay, so don't destroy on load here. I've pulled up the documentation here, and essentially it is a do not destroy this target object when loading a new scene, okay? So this is really important for scores, collectibles, anything that you essentially want to keep track of throughout the various different scenes. Gosh, I'm going to try and get this fly on my... Oh, I got it. Sorry, team. Oh my gosh, I live in Collingwood and there are so many flies, it's crazy. Okay, so the load of the new scene destroys all, so when you load a new scene, it destroys all the current scene objects, so all the game objects. So if you were tracking score, if you were tracking health, if you were tracking collectibles, oh my gosh, what else? Like a shelf of items. The sky's the limit, honestly. So if you call don't destroy unload, it preserves the object during scene loading. So if the target object that you're like the game object that you have is a component or a game object, then Unity will also preserve all the transforms children, okay? So this only works for the root game objects or components on the root game objects that do not return a value. So if you look here, there's an example. Okay, so the following script shows you this example for scene 1, which is starts by playing background music from an audio source. The music continues when scene 2 loads, okay? And then switching between the scenes using the button. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into the music part of it because we're going to cover that later. But to implement this example, create 2 new scenes, which we have. Open scene 1 and add a scene swap script to an empty game object and name it menu. Okay, so you can do this on your own here. I want you to do it in class right now and let me know if you have any questions, okay? So this is just the documentation, script reference. Don't destroy on load, okay? Okay, so you're loading the scene. Okay, which is just the normal scene, so you can basically use what we worked on. And then down here, then what you're saying is don't destroy, unload this game object, okay? Okay, so that was good. Okay, so what we would do to modify this sample that we have, let's load scene 1, okay? So what I need to do is I'm only going to put my level manager in level 1 only, okay? So I'm going to go back to level 2 here, and I'm going to get rid of my level manager. I'm going to go save it. I'm going to go to level 3. Delete that. I guess I technically could delete my empty object, but whatever right now. I mean, usually you're not going to have such a basic example. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to use the don't destroy on load game object in the awake, okay? So in level 2 and 3, we're not going to duplicate it because it's going to carry over the content from level 1. Okay, so you would essentially, in a game that had a main menu, is you would put it in the main menu, and that's going to carry out throughout the game. So if you accidentally left one of your game objects in level 2, like the level manager, then the script is just going to destroy it, okay? So some of the issues that people have is if by using this is they accidentally put a game manager in every scene. You don't. You only put it in your first level. And Yeah, I mean, I guess it really depends. I'm just thinking out loud here, but essentially, you don't really need to track all that in your main menu. So really, you would actually put it in your level one. Put your game manager, your level manager, all that thing. The other thing that some of the mistakes that people make is they forget to use if instance equals null. So then if you do that, you'll get duplicates. And they try to use find object of type in awake before the scene finishes loading. So you have to use start instead for safety. Okay, so don't destroy unload is a great way to keep all of your important systems, which we want to do. And keep in mind, this optimizes performance, right? But there is literally no other way to maintain your, I'm going to go with the score because that's a normal one, or a timer or something. But that is the only way to keep it across scenes is to use this. Okay, so game manager, music, but you only want one of them. So you're going to use a pattern that checks if it already exists and avoids duplicates. Okay, and that's what's called a singleton. Would you? Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to open up my code. Okay, so what we want to do is create a new a new function here. I'm just thinking if I was to do just thinking out loud. Okay, maybe what I would do here, you know what, hold on. I'm going to open Pong, okay? So I don't really have anything really to track in this one. This was more simple between loading scenes and things like that. I'm going to save this here. Okay. Okay, let's say I'm in my score manager here in Pong, okay? So this is the one we were working on, right? So what I'm going to do is create a tab public static score manager instance. Okay, so it's going to create an instance of this class, and that instance is what's going to carry. It's going to be utilized throughout every single level and basically throughout the scene. Okay, so we have our current score. Where's our current score? Right. Okay, so we have our player score 1 and our player score 2. And hold on, I just want to make sure we don't have an awake function. Okay, I guess I could have deleted that start function, but I'm going to do private void awake. Okay, and then so remember that this is when the level is awake. So if the instance of score manager is equal to null, meaning there's not one, okay, then what I want to do is create one, okay, because this is assuming this basically is saying this is the first time this script is being run, and I need to create one, okay, so instance, just tabbing to finish it over, is this is this object, this class we're in right now. We're going to create an instance of this class, and we're going to say don't destroy on load this instance, okay, of the game object. The game manager object that we're going to associate with this, okay? Okay, and then else this is not the first time we're running this. Destroy game object. So this is going to prevent dupes, duplicates, on scene load, okay? And then we essentially, these variables and everything will be accessible. Now the only difference here that I'm going to do actually here are these are public. Okay, because if they're private, then you wouldn't be able to access them. Okay, so public. Okay, and then essentially when I amalgamate these two, I have a second level of Pong. Let's say I added another game of Pong, okay? So level 2 that maybe had faster speed. Then at the end of level 1 and 2, I could tally up both scores. So because this one caps out at 5, both games cap out at 5, my final score would be at a 10. Guess if I wanted to be really fair, I should do 3 games. So I could do 3 levels, and then my final score to be at a 15, which would more likely make sure that I don't have a tie. And then I can display on my last credit screen that based on this game object, it would store the score. Okay, and you can display that on screen. Okay, so that is a very key concept that you're going to use when you're using multiple scenes, okay? I think we've covered a decent amount here, and not super complex topics, but I think really important. Okay, so we talked about organization. We talked about using different scenes, and we talked about using game objects across multiple scenes. And I know that maybe I just want to remind you, remember, you have to set your scene list in the build profiles, okay? And the first one is going to be the one to load. So if I had a main menu, which most likely would, the first one here would be the main menu. So that would be number 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so make sure. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. Georgian. I just want to go to Blackboard. Okay, courses. Okay. So let's go to week 8 exercise. Okay, so what you're going to do is add proper scene transitions to your existing project from week 7, okay? So your menu should now work across multiple scenes. Prior to this, you had it all in one scene, okay? So your menus are still relevant, but you're going to put them in different scenes. So your buttons like restart and pause and replay and main menu, play are all going to be calling level 1. Okay, so your requirements, you need a main menu scene, which you had, but the buttons need to load your gameplay scene. Your credit needs to load a separate credit scene, and your quit button needs to quit the application. Okay, the quit button is new. Gameplay scene contains the actual gameplay logic and in-game pause menu with resume and start. Okay, and the restart loads the current scene. Then you have your credit scene. Contains the actual game logic, an in-game pause menu. Oh, sorry, I just reread what I just did. Credits menu can be a separate scene or panel and back to the main menu, okay? That gives you the option to go back to the main menu scene. Now, so your scene transition flow should be main menu, gameplay, game over, pause, restart, or main menu. Your game menu, pause menu, credit menu, font should fit your game, okay? I don't want Arial. I don't want Times New Roman. I want something that actually fits with your game, okay? This isn't like the basics anymore, okay? We're in week 8. We've got to step it up. And I don't want any more simple geometry in your games, okay? It is time to start polishing your games. You should not have simple backgrounds that are blue. You should not have boxes or squares. I mean, circles are good, but if you have a circle or a ball, make sure it's got some highlights in it. Maybe it looks like a tennis ball. Maybe it looks like whatever. I don't want the standard stuff anymore, okay? You should be able to take a few hours to level up your game, okay? And I want you to submit a short video, 2 to 4 minutes, okay, demonstrating all of these things. I want to see I want to see you hit every single button. I want to see you hit every option. I want you to talk about what you've polished, and I need you to talk about it, okay? I don't want you to have no voice in your video. No more 40-second videos, okay? Be proud of the work you're doing. Talk about it. Talk about what you did. Talk maybe about what you want to add, okay? I needed updated visuals and starting to be really polished here, okay? I think that's all I have to add, okay? So thank you, everyone. I updated the deadline for this. It's Friday, July 11th, okay? So you have time, the same amount of time that Wallace gave everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.